Hey everyone, well, it's now been 6 months since the Batwoman Season 3 finale first aired, and a lot has happened since then. In April, we found out that the CW had officially cancelled Batwoman, and a few weeks later, almost all of their shows. Now we found out that Arrowverse is officially over on its 10-year anniversary, with Flash ending after Season 9. Since I never got around to it, here's my review of what's now the Batwoman series finale. The description for the episode says, Batwoman and a panicked Bat team must race against the clock as Marcus's nefarious plan balloons into something Gotham could have never suspected. A final standoff between brother and sister puts Ryan's life and a new love on the line. So I'm just gonna say it, I absolutely love this episode. I was hooked right from the chilling opening of Marcus going to the Joker's lair to finally finish what Joker started the night on the bus. We saw Joker tell Marcus his plan before sapping him, and it's so tragic. You can tell Marcus looked up to Batman just from that glance at his sweatshirt, but by trying to be like his hero, he ended up becoming the villain. Like, it kind of fits with the whole Batman's existence created the villains thing. They might have reused the flashbacks from last episode, but they look way better here. This whole episode looked beautiful. Those visuals of Marcus walking through the mirrors, they just have this classic comic booky feel like the Spider-Man comics I grew up reading, and that's been missing from most comic book movies nowadays. Like with Joker, everyone's trying to modernize him, while the little we got of this Joker actually felt like the clown prince of crime just jumped right out of the comics. The one thing I hated was his laugh, and unfortunately that's the same one they gave to Marcus now. But we got more great visuals at Arkham. Mary found a place to help Alice, but found her trying to kill herself before she could tell her. She just couldn't take it anymore, being stuck in a cell and trapped in her head, pleading for Mary to let her go. Such a painful scene, and it might have been Rachel's best performance in season 1. She's always been great, but these last 2 episodes gave her such strong material. Mary tried getting the Bat Team to give Alice the Joy Buzzer instead of Marcus, and even though I'm on the Bat Team side, I'm still glad that she stood up for herself. Ryan was the most understanding, even though it's between her brother and the woman that killed Cora, but she relates to Mary, trying to save their sibling damaged by the Joker, once again proving he's the true villain of the story. After Marcus used Lucius Fox's tech to get the whole city outside to see him reveal Batwoman's identity, Jada came rushing to get the team's help tracking him. I'm pretty sure this was Luke and Jada's first interaction, which might have been on purpose, because the way that she was talking about Lucius had me thinking they were about to reveal he's Ryan's father. At least there's no doubt that he was the employee Bruce stole from her. Meanwhile, Ryan went over to Arkham to discuss the Joy Buzzer with Alice. She kept taunting her that if she buzzed Marcus, he'd leave Ryan like everyone else in her life, but Ryan thought that was bullshit, so Alice told her his real plan. On the night of the bus crash, Joker planned on punishing the city for worshipping the bat symbol by turning them all like him, so Marcus stole the bat blimp to drop acid over the city. To make things worse, the team needed the Batcave to stop him, but Marcus still had Wayne. So Ryan got Jada to help by telling the world that Marcus killed his father, even though it could have hurt her too. Now everyone's always praising Rachel and Javicia, and they totally deserve it, especially Javicia, but I feel like Nick Regan's been overlooked. Yeah, it's kinda because of the writing. After Lesson from the Pig, he hasn't gotten that same strong material, but that scene where he learns that he lost Wayne and his past was exposed really showed off Nick's talent. The rage turning to madness, that cycle of emotion, struggling to tell himself none of this matters, and the visuals were great too. I'm so glad that they brought up how Ryan's contract with him wasn't liable, so she got Wayne back. I just thought that'd be a bigger deal, not just solved off screen. Sophie and Mary got into the Batcave, and they gotta keep reminding me that Hamill Fox is never gonna be canon, but I'll take those small moments, and I'm probably reaching, but I'll also take Sophie going into the trophy room as a parallel to Ryan in the premiere. They got people back inside using Penguin's hypnosis umbrella, while Luke tried getting Ryan on the blimp until Marcus shot the engine, so she had to fly up instead. But Ryan couldn't reroute it or disarm the bomb, and we finally got the big sibling fight. I love how they bounced off the glass and the cool visuals as they moved around, because they both have the tips of their hair dyed a bright color. Marcus got his blood thrown again, and he brought out a crowbar. I just wish Ryan would have used those staffs from the Ivy fight again. But Javicia was great, pleading to get her brother back, and the moment he said sorry, I just knew that he was gonna push her off the blimp. I just didn't expect her to take him with her. Marcus saying, "Would you die for me, sis?" on the ledge reminded me of Leto's Joker saying, "Would you die for me? No. Would you live for me?" I mean, Nick did say he took inspiration from Leto. I thought Marcus would let go, but turns out Ryan gave Alice the Joy Buzzer because she knew that she'd change on her own and give it to Marcus. I just wish we could have gotten one final curiouser and curiouser as she was leaning over the edge. Ryan finally sapped Marcus and thanked Alice for her help, doing that same little head tilt from the premiere. It all comes full circle, back to the GCPD roof where Montoya first forced them to work together in the premiere. They've come so far from season 2. Meanwhile, Luke couldn't disarm the bomb and he had to leave his dad's AI behind to get the blimp working, while Sophie rerouted it to a barren area. I love that shot of Luke landing, maybe also coming full circle because that looked like the alley where he first suited up to save Mary. Finally, the Batwomen got their siblings back. Beth left for that place Mary told her about, while Marcus woke up as himself again. Wildmore were gonna celebrate until Hamill Fox walked in on them again. I wish we'd seen that Wildmore dinner scene, but Batwoman doesn't have time for that. that, there's always another mission waiting for her. Overall, this was a perfect finale, the best the show's ever had. Yeah, the first two were affected by COVID, but in general, it's just one of the best finales I've seen in a while. Even with Stargirl, I had my issues with Eclipso's ending, but this one actually stuck the landing. I'm sad that they didn't get to end on their own terms, but I'm so glad it got to end on a high note, unlike so many other recent shows. Part of its strength is that, yeah, they brought in the last minute destroy the city plot, but at its core, this stayed a grounded sibling conflict, the story of a woman just desperate to save her family. Recently, my problems with Shang-Chi, Peacemaker, and WandaVision is how there are these deep family conflicts that just give it up at the last second for a big CGI fight. I love Peacemaker's final fight with the butterflies, but I'm glad Batwoman kept focus on Marquis and Ryan. I just wish that the fight was longer because we really had no action this year. There's a few plot holes like how did Jada know that Ryan gave Alice the joy buzzer if Ryan just came rushing over without telling them, and it had this very fast pace, but other than that, I'd say this was a perfect episode. I couldn't stop rewatching it. In fact, I had just finished rewatching it when I found out that the show got cancelled. There's just great acting, great action, great song choices, and great visuals. So many things look like paintings. I never realized how good the hold-up could look before. Even small things like Mary walking in all badass look great, and that shot of Ryan by the bat signal might have been the best of the whole show. We even saw new parts of Gotham like the train station and the interrogation room, and it all looked great. Holly Dale did such an amazing job directing. She's always giving us the best cinematography in the CW, and I'm so glad she got to wrap up the show. Surprisingly, I've also gotta praise Caroline Dries. I had my issues with her throughout the show, but she really gave it her all this season. Starting with that amazing premiere, then I was shocked to learn that she co-wrote Lesson from the Pig, which is still the show's best episode. Now she co-wrote this finale. I may not agree with her decisions, but she's clearly passionate about Ryan, and it brings out her best writing. I've also gotta give credit to Nancy Hugh, who not only co-wrote this episode, but also my favorite from season 2, Rule Number 1, and what really got me into the show, I'm at Tea Party. Nancy, Maya Houston, Ebony Gilbert, and Holly Dale all did such an amazing job on the show. The show always struggled with Kate as the lead, but the second it gave full focus to Ryan, we got an amazing season 3. Javicia was such an amazing lead, paired with such an amazing cast. Right from the opening of the premiere, there was this fresh new feeling to the show. So much love and passion from the crew. I mentioned it before, but just the color palette change was great, and the way it's shot. The show is mostly POC, there was no reason to keep that ugly gray filter from season 1. They finally found the right tone for the show and the type of show that they wanted to be, and it was great. If you need any more proof that 13 episodes is the perfect balance, just look at the season. It was such a benefit to cut it down because unlike the previous seasons, it has such a nice tight story, and every episode played some importance into the main plot. As a result, pretty much every episode was great. Sure, some were better than others, but since when can you say that about a CW show? They managed to have 2 villains in 13 episodes while dealing with DC's restrictions, plus some villains of the week, and it all flowed perfectly. Eric Wallace could never. I love the business part of the show in the first half of the season, and while I missed it in the back half, I really enjoyed most of the Ivy storyline and how they got into horror with both Marcus and Ivy, and just the pure comic book fun with Marcus. I do wish that we got a bit more action and more of Renee, a better wrap up to Hamill Fox and Wildmore, and there was the one episode I wasn't a huge fan of, but other than that, what more could I ask for? If the show's gotta go, I'm glad that they went out with the best season yet. I know that they said that the focus was giving this season a strong ending, and I'm so thankful for that, but even before Pedowitz confirmed it, I had a feeling that they were told to write this as a series finale, because it kinda works as one with an open ending. Marcus is defeated, Ryan got her family back and the woman of her dreams, and there's no time to celebrate in Gotham. There's always another mission for Batwoman. You never know what awaits her. There will be other stories to tell on Ryan's journey, but this one's over for now. When we met Ryan and whatever happened to Kate Kane, she called herself nothing. She had no love, no family. She couldn't save her mother and just wanted to avenge her. Angelique Martin showed her how to love, but Sophie Moore was the first person to truly love her back. As Batwoman, Ryan found her purpose becoming a symbol for her people and finding the family that she always wanted. She couldn't save Cora, but she saved Marcus and the city. People watching since season 1 could argue that Alice was the true main character that season. We saw her go through refusing her sister's help, to Batwoman giving up on her, to having to save Kate herself. Then once she wanted help, her family was gone. But with Mary, she found a sister that she'd always wanted, who set her on the path to becoming Beth again, once Batwoman finally believed in her again. If they got renewed, she could have become Red Alice, but this was a perfect wrap-up for her character. I'd say the only one without a proper wrap-up was Mary, cause with everything going going on, they kinda brushed over her killing the Hunter. After all the struggles, Luke finally became the hero he was meant to be. The Jets got their happy ending, although if the show continued, I feel like Marcus might have been playing them again. Their happiness won't last anyway, cause him and Jada have to deal with the world learning he killed his father. While we're left with the potential of what could have happened, all these stories really came full circle. Now the first week of August, we found out that The Flash is ending next year, and with Stargirl and Superman and Lois on different Earths, it's also the end of the Arrowverse. So while before I was hoping Eric Wallace would never touch these characters, and I know he said that he can't do it before, now that it's the universe wrap-up, he's gotta bring the Batwoman cast on. He's always insisting on those interlude episodes and trying to connect to the Arrowverse, so why not use one to wrap up Batwoman? Legends can get one too, I guess. But let Maya, Ebony, Nancy, maybe even Caroline come over and put them in charge of this episode, and let Holly Dale direct, of course. Otherwise, at least let Ryan show up for a bit goodbye with the Justice League like in that comic, and setting up Wes Wilder's friendship. Back to that crazy week, it's also when we started getting all this news about how incompetent David Zaslav has been at WB. From the moment he took over, I was worried about Zaslav, knowing his background from Discovery and the cheap content that they produce, but everyone was like, oh, he's gonna save DC, he's gonna restore the Snyderverse. Well, guess what? This man would have never even released a Snyder Cut. Batwoman had the advantage of going to HBO Max instead of Netflix, so there's not contract stopping it from being saved, but there's no way that Zaslav would ever save it. Zaslav went to the Mr. Crap School of Business. He's all about making the cheapest content possible for the biggest return with no care for the creatives or the fans. From taking shows off HBO Max, placing budget restrictions on new shows, to canceling Scoob and Batgirl. Just last year, I was saying how excited I was, hoping that we could see our Black Batwoman and Afro-Latina Batgirl team up. Well, now both of them are gone. The Hollywood Reporter pretty much confirmed CW wanted to save Legends and Batwoman, but Warner was the one that got them cancelled because they didn't want to renew the lease for the soundstage. It wouldn't surprise me if it was Zaslav himself who insisted on making that decision. Other CW shows got to go on for years being awful, but this one with so much talent and potential was the first to go. I just hope that this isn't the end for Ryan Wilder. Hopefully DC sees a love for this character and the success of the Earth Prime comic and might think about giving her a solo title. I just don't want this character to die with the show. To wrap this up, like Jada Jet said, Ryan Wilder, you have exceeded my wildest dreams. This was a show that was never meant to be. From the moment it was announced, it was full of controversy, went through so many obstacles that would have killed any other show, yet it survived and came back stronger. Losing its lead turned into the blessing that created Ryan Wilder and introduced the world to Javicia Leslie. The best decision they could have ever made. Looking back, this show kinda got me through the pandemic, catching up on season 1 during quarantine, falling in love with Luke, Mary, and Alice in the back half of the season. Then Javicia joined the cast and Ryan immediately became my favorite character. Yeah, season 2 had its struggles, but season 3 lived up to its potential and brought this fresh feeling back to the Arrowverse. I'm so thankful for this great cast and crew that brought Batwoman's story to life, and Javicia Leslie will always be my Batwoman. Well, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe for similar content. Leave your thoughts on the video, episode, cancellation in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching and have a good day. Goodbye.